Yeah. I'm back, waiting for everything to kick back on. Restart everything. Yeah, my power flickered. It didn't go out, but it flickered enough to cut out my modem. Fucking bastard. Fucking bastard, cut out my internet. Oh, there goes all my viewers. Thanks, guys, for taking off and running away. Oh, there we go. Stream's back up. Stream's back up. All right, I'm back. Damn it. Yeah, if you didn't hear when I was describing it earlier, like I said, we got a thunderstorm here. So, yeah, it flickered the power. Not enough to make the power go out, but it made my modem reboot. I'm like, motherfucker. So, it cut out my stream. Oh well. I'll pick up where I left off. We'll just get back into this video.
Will come from cameras specifically designed to photograph ghosts.
Always thought that this was an interesting picture. This was found taken in a church. It's very odd. To me, it almost like I could see where there would be eyes here, and almost like this is a mask. But if you look, it almost looks like it could be pareidolia, that you're seeing the eyes and stuff. Whereas if you look at the top and the way the things come down, it almost looks like an old, like a big candle, and that's all melted wax coming down. Do you see what I'm saying? It's an interesting picture, don't get me wrong. It's definitely going to catch people's attention. And the transparent shadowing here is, of course, making you going to attach whatever that is to it because of the placement. But I don't know. It's interesting.
Full spectrum cameras. A full spectrum camera can pick up all forms of light, from infrared through ultraviolet. And they're not that complicated to make. You can convert.
Personally, I don't know how much I trust full spectrum cameras. I've seen them used several times. Honestly, I feel like, from what I've seen of full spectrum cameras, that they're using the different views to kind of mask chicanery or bullshittery, in my opinion. I don't know. I think that it's an interesting idea. I don't know how legitimately effective they are. I haven't actually gotten a chance to use one myself, but when I've seen them used, they're always used by people who are bullshitters, so I don't know how trustworthy they are.
Convert just about any camera into a full spectrum camera. All you have to do is remove the infrared cut filter and replace it with a piece of clear glass, which makes it sensitive to UV. And by the way, even though you can convert most cameras to full spectrum, don't try to convert your phone. You'll definitely break it. Ghost hunters use full spectrum cameras to try and pick up things we can't see with our naked eye. And surprising no one, they're most commonly used in dark spaces, but they work in all environments.
That's
Entities
a thermal camera. That's different.
Cameras have been known to glow or emit their own light source.
Okay, this one I have to get on AJ for it. This one, I don't think you should show a thermal camera when you're talking about full spectrum camera. People are going to get the wrong idea. That result with the multicolors, with the blue and the red, the yellow, that's a thermal camera. It's just detecting a thermal signature. That's not full spectrum. This is a result of full spectrum, not thermal. There's a big difference between the types of camera. Full spectrum is you're seeing the multi-spectrums of light, whereas thermal, it's just detecting heat signatures. It's not actually recording like visually as so much as just the heat signatures. It looks visual, it looks like a camera, but it's not reading it as you would see like through your eyes. It's reading it just the temperature. So that's why they look like blobby forms.
And these ghosts come in all shapes and sizes. Some ghost hunters prefer using just an infrared video light. These cameras are more than enough to film in near or total darkness.
Yeah, you see those a lot, night vision cameras.
I came
Jay
Or if you want to be
came!
really basic and
Oh,
find
we
ghosts
back,
in
baby?
dark
Yeah, I've been
environments,
back for
you
a
can
little
just
bit.
use a black light.
Yeah, like I said, I warned there's a thunderstorm here, and sure enough, fucked with my power and rebooted my internet. I had to wait for it to come back on. Fucking bullshit. It's still downpouring out there. I think if I get cut off again, I'm probably going to call it a night.
Ghost hunters will often use black lights to reveal hidden or hard to find evidence of ghosts or messages from our ancestors.
Yeah, I'm fine. We're used to it here.
Black light is a type of light bulb that emits ultraviolet light. This type of light is not visible to the human eye, but when it shines on certain materials, it can cause them to glow. Black lights are also excellent for revealing hoaxes. They can spot super thin laser lights, fishing lines, even holograms, and other weird devices used when someone is staging a haunting.
No shit.
Another way to figure out if a haunting is
scared of people
is by using an SLS camera.
Don't shine it on my bed.
For a structured light sensor. These cameras send out thousands of tiny points of light to map out a room or other type of space.
Okay, I think that these are stupid. These are stupid. Most of them are designed to look specifically for the human body, the human form. All right? So it will continue to look for it even when there is no human form. And that's where you get those weird, oh, it's super small. Oh, it's super big. Oh, it's doing weird stuff. It's because the camera's trying to make sense of it. It's looking for a human body.
Revealing things that aren't apparent to the naked eye. Ghost hunters use SLS cameras to identify apparitions that alter the way light flows through the space. But how do we know that these figures and shapes are really ghosts?
Dad, why
and
is the bed glowing? I'll tell you when you're older. You, sir, are nasty.
Well, it's actually pretty simple. We can just ask them. We've come a long way since the ghost phone.
I'm just wondering. Let me scroll down a little bit. I'm gonna mute my music for a moment. Can y'all hear how heavy it's fucking raining outside? That's loud as fuck. There go. It is fucking downpouring. Holy shit balls.
Phone and spirit radio. We have tools right in our pockets that allow us to record everything going on around us and analyze that information to see if there's anything we've missed.
With their phone now.
There are many different types of audio devices that you can use in ghost hunting, and they all
People's
look for the same
phone is
things.
a multi-tool now.
EVPs or ITCs.
There's a slight thump.
EVPs are electronic voice phenomena.
No, that's my boner dragging on the floor.
ITCs are instrumental transcommunication. EVPs are defined by pure disembodied voices, and these voices can be captured on an audio.
No! God damn it. Not the one in his hand.
It's the ghost phone and spirit radio. We have tools right in our pockets that allow us to record everything going on around us and analyze that information to see if there's anything we've missed. There are many different types of audio devices that you can use in ghost hunting, and they all look for the same things. EVPs or ITCs. EVPs are electronic voice phenomena. ITCs are instrumental transcommunication.
Often EVPs are just audio pareidolia that they
EVPs
I'll go into it. There, right there. See that right there? The one that's not blurry. It's the fucking DR60. This fucking motherfucker. Look how expensive it is on fucking eBay. All right. The reason the DR60, the reason this motherfucker, it was discontinued. The bitch was discontinued because it's faulty. It has an unshielded mic and would often record itself and its own sounds, as well as any random fucking thing. It picks up every little noise. And the reason ghost hunters love getting these, the reason why it's so expensive and still so popular years later, even after being discontinued, is because it fucking manufactures evidence for them. Because it makes sound. It makes its own sound. And then they just listen to it and go, oh, look, that sounded like Get Out. It's a fucking evidence manufacturing machine. It's fucking garbage. And look, they can charge this much. They charge this much on fucking eBay because these fucking nut jobs, the fucking ghost hunters, they want these bitches. It manufactures evidence. And look, Go watch fucking some of these ghost hunting videos and you'll see the fucking DR60. You'll see it in so many popular ones. Because even though there's newer, better recorders out there, they're still using this piece of shit because it manufactures evidence for them. It's a ghost! It's bullshit. Indeed it is. Oh my god. Yeah. God damn it.
Defined by pure disembodied voices. And these voices can be captured on an audio device, but you usually can't hear them. Ghost hunters often have to analyze and break down the layers of sound at a later time to hear the messages. ITCs are a little more nuanced. Instead of recording a sound that needs to be analyzed later, an ITC happens when ghosts interact with radios and other mediums in real time.
These are hot garbage. I don't believe them for a fucking second.
Most examples of EVPs and ITCs include single words or repeated phrases, maybe a short sentence at the very most.
Yes, you are. You're totally crazy.
Usually they're nothing more than grunts or groans.
My butt!
The quality of EVPs often fluctuates as well. They fall on a scale from Class A to Class C. Class A being the easiest to understand and are usually pretty loud.
At one point, Jay says, "Princess, are you in the room?" And it sounds
Grant
like
and Jason Hawes.
Where are you?
Princess, can you at least let us know you're in here? Can you say something? Can you say...
Class B EVPs have
I don't know. I don't remember that
syllables.
One. I mean, it was years ago. I don't remember every fucking episode. But that sounds... I don't know if it was when they started faking or not. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more episodes where they were bullshitting than not.
Lower in volume, or sometimes sound like the person is far away. Class C EVPs are the hardest to understand or interpret.
So if you know of anybody that's hurt, can you let us
These are the ones you hear all the time. They're the fucking garbage.
Nothing to hurt anything. Nothing to hurt anything. Nothing to hurt anything.
When a message can't be clearly understood, some ghost hunters will turn to the obelisk. The obelisk is a device that contains a database of various words.
I hate these. I don't believe them. I don't trust them. I won't use them. This is a way to make reality fucking TV bullshit fucking more hands-on, just more devices, more things to do. And I wouldn't put past them to have words pre-prepared to come out. You know, you think that you think I would put it past them to Jimmy rig something? I don't doubt it at all. Like fucking most of them have been caught faking. And if they got caught faking once, I wouldn't put anything past them.
Syllables. Instead, it can detect and translate energy fields.
Most of the time, you see these spirit boxes on the cell phone now.
Just sent Aaron inside, and it said abort, unholy chills.
By picking up
they were talking to your mom.
The obelisk works as a middleman between the world of the living and the world of the dead. When asked a question, pretty much any question, the obelisk will respond.
Do you know that we're gonna come inside? Do you know where this voice is coming from?
Do you know we're gonna come inside? We're gonna come all inside, right inside you.
Oh, wow.
Thanks to all these scientific tools,
like a Monday
the
to
world
me,
of
right?
ghost hunting is abundant with proxy data, all of it adding up to validate the existence of ghosts. So ghosts are real, right?
No, not necessarily. Maybe.
Our fascination with ghosts and ghost hunting has created a huge industry.
Unfortunately.
Modern ghost hunting and haunted tourism are so big that some towns refuse to engage with their haunted histories. They don't want to damage their reputations or be descended upon by packs of YouTubers with wacky gadgets.
Yep. They've turned it into a circus, and this is one of my biggest problems with modern day ghost hunting is these fucking fakers that go out there and fake left and right for fucking entertainment purposes, but lie and say that it's all real, even though it's not. They put a bad name on actual ghost hunters that are trying to catch real evidence. It's just a bunch of idiots with fucking technology running around like fucking dumbasses inside a haunted house, supposedly. A lot of the haunted locations and haunted tourism, they're just charging money. Like the guy, there's a house that has zero history of ever being haunted, and then this guy bought the house, and then all of a sudden, all these ghost stories started coming out about it, and it was really too convenient that, almost immediately he was renting it out to ghost hunters. You know what I mean? No haunted history at all. All of a sudden it's haunted. It's almost like somebody made the rumors themselves. It's for stupid people with money. Yes, pretty much. It's my problem with it is, A, they're lying to people for money. They are lying for money. They're shysters and con artists, in my opinion. The second part is, mainstream science will never take ghost hunting or the supernatural seriously as long as this circus is out there fucking it up. Charlatan, pretty much. I would love to see mainstream science and actual scientific equipment used for real ghost hunting, not this bullshit. But again, they've turned it into a joke. It's almost like a disease that science wants to stay away from because they don't want to get looped in with that fucking batshittery.
But that hasn't stopped people from traveling all over the world to hunt for the dead, and they spend a lot of money on devices to help them do it.
Which I've called out a million
meters,
times on.
EMFs are invisible chunks of energy, sometimes referred to as radiation, that are associated with electrical power. Electrical transmission through these fields happens through alternating currents, AC, or direct currents, DC. DC EMFs are pretty stable and don't really do much, but AC creates waves at a range of different frequencies and amplitudes, and these waves are erratic and prolific and all over the place. So it's logical that EMF and K2 meters give such wacky readings, even if no ghosts are present. Mel meters and REM pods have the same issues. They were made specifically for ghost hunting, but the readings don't mean anything. They don't prove that ghosts exist.
They don't prove
Thermometers are also limited. Scientists need precise laser technology for accurate and repeatable measurements of temperature. Most commercially available models only have a distance to light ratio of 12:1. They only give you an average temperature reading of a large area. Blacklights, anemometers, and thermometers. All the data collected using these scientific tools can be explained by naturally occurring phenomena. Then there's all the audio recordings. Sure, some EVPs and ITCs might be real, but how you interpret the sounds is often a function of your own beliefs. Some psychics think the voices they hear in audio recordings could be their own projected consciousness.
I hate those things. I really hate those things.
People of faith often believe they're hearing messages from angels or demons. But for the most part, EVPs and ITCs usually turn out to be nothing more than a hoax.
Yep. Most of the time.
Welcome. Please come in. I can't tell you how pleased I am to see you. Can't tell you how pleased I am.
How's this?
Can't tell you how pleased I am. Can't tell you how pleased I am. Can't tell you how pleased I am.
There are no accepted protocols for gathering audio from ghosts. Ghost hunters just kind of make it up as they go along.
Please call out the VR60, please, 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 please.
Investigators can easily manipulate the sounds.
Where's Mom? Where's Mom?
Where's Mama?
Come on through. Come on through.
It's just too easy to fake an EVP. And
Audio
just as easy
pareidolia.
to hear something just because you want to. And that's basically what the obelisk device is. Like I said, it's just a simple collection of environmental detectors that spit out a sound. Unfortunately, the desire to find ghosts exceeds the actual evidence they exist. Whether it's a photo from a full spectrum camera or any type of audio recording, everything can be altered to reveal what the hunter wants to find. The first ghost hoax photograph was taken way back in 1861 by William H. Mumler. Mumler took a self-portrait with a plate that was already exposed. It looked like there was a ghost behind him. He shared the image with his friends as a joke, a 19th century meme. But as the photograph reached more people, some of them started claiming it was real. It didn't take long before people were faking ghosts everywhere. Now,
Just
even
like
if it's
TikTok.
not manipulated,
It's the
with no
first
consistency
TikTok
on how ghost hunters gather their data, how can anyone prove anything scientifically? You need to follow precise methodologies when trying to prove something with science. And ghost hunting does not follow the scientific method.
At all. It's a big fucking joke.
One of the few tools used in ghost hunting that does capture somewhat accurate data is the SLS camera. But even those types of cameras are famous for picking up all kinds of anomalies. And they're also highly prone to human error and manipulation. The scientific method requires long-term studies and measurable data. Experiments need to be conducted under very specific means and repeated multiple times to prove their accuracy. The way ghost hunters use this technology has actually set the entire field of research back, and the reality shows don't help.
Thank you. I have said that so many times. Thank you.
A seaman, a man of the, you might.
Okay, I'm probably going to go back. I'm going to go back so I can cover this. Yeah, there's an ad on. If you're watching me on Kick, I'm sorry. I got ads on Twitch. I don't want the Twitchies to fucking miss out on the good stuff. I will be going to Rumble soon. I'm just waiting. I went through the whole explanation why I'm not on Rumble yet. But I'm already in the works to go there. There's a reason. Well, I mean, I'm waiting. I might as well explain it. It's I had a previous existing account on Rumble, and I wanted to make a new one, of course, for Bones Jangle. Well, it wouldn't let me change the name or anything. It's had too much identifying information on there. So I removed that account, deleted that account, and made a new one. Well, to verify that account, I needed to use my cell phone and everything, which was still linked to my previous account. And they give you 30 days in case you change your mind to reactivate your account. So I have to wait the 30 days until that is finally gone off that account so that I can activate my new account and start there. So that's all that is. Okay, almost over. Ad break over. Okay. And then all the Twitchies left. Really? An ad made you all leave? An ad. A fucking ad made you leave? What the fuck? I waited for you. I waited. God damn it. All right. Longfellow's waysided. Longfellow.
Entire field of research back, and the reality shows don't help.
A young man she met here who was a seaman went away.
He was a seaman.
A man of the, you might call merchant marine today.
Yeah.
Stop. Let go of yourself.
Yes, make fun of Sack Baggins. I fucking can't stand that fucker. Yeah, not impressed.
But is lack of science a problem for ghost hunters or a problem for science? And what if we've been using the wrong type of science all along?
No shit.
Well, none of the tools used by ghost hunters reveals any type of scientific evidence that ghosts exist.
No, they're just flashy to use on fucking TV.
They haven't proven that ghosts are not real. The human body is acutely attuned to its physical environment. Now, modern technology has dulled our instincts, but we still have them. We know when we're somewhere we're not supposed to be. We know when we're being watched. We know when we're not alone.
Which is very true.
Now, some people actually enjoy this sensation. And maybe ghost hunters just have an itch for fear that's best scratched by visiting with the
I think
dead.
they have an itch for money.
Other people get into paranormal research because they miss a deceased loved one and want to regain that connection.
That is fair.
Despite centuries of research, no one can say definitively what happens after death. No one can agree on what people experience during a near-death experience. Are people having a hallucination, or is there something more to it? Ghost stories are one of the few things that unite all cultures around the world, now and through all of history. And that's an awful lot of proxy data.
Skeletons.
Near-death experiences are often described the same way, regardless of
I
culture.
didn't like that first
And
quick
something this
skeleton. He had
universal
a
could be
really
grounded in truth.
way.
And maybe the answers are out there, and we just haven't discovered the right technology to prove they exist. At least, not yet. The implications of discovering ghosts are far more profound than just figuring out what happens after death. If ghosts are real, everything we know changes. Even though modern ghost hunting is clouding the science, people are not going to stop believing in ghosts.
You're ruining
or stop
it.
looking for them. Believers and even non-believers seek a connection to people of the past.
Real believers of the paranormal, people that really want to find out the truth and know about life after death and stuff like that, by supporting the charlatans, you are damaging the entire cause. You don't understand. Real science will never touch this as long as this circus is going on. You are basically supporting its downfall. I'm just saying, look at the facts. I get it. I get it. I would love to talk to some of my passed away relatives. All right? My best friend passed away. If I were to hear from him, I'd be fucking ecstatic. You know what I mean? But you can't lie to yourself either. And this shit, the fact that they put it out there as fact and truth is one of the biggest fucking problems, in my opinion. I don't see ghost hunting shows going anywhere anytime soon. It's big money. It's popular. There's people who are interested. And my little voice ain't gonna mean dick in the fucking drop in a pond. You know what I mean? But it's facts.
Past. And this could be the recent past, like a loved one who just died. Or could be the distant past, where a ghost can help us fill gaps in history. And the need to prove the existence of ghosts is also closely coupled with our natural fear of death. Even if we overcome that fear, it's very uncomfortable to picture a world where we don't exist. So if ghosts are real, then the afterlife is real, and our consciousness or soul can live on. It's a comforting thought, and the foundation for almost all religions. But maybe it's better we don't know. If there was proof of an afterlife, it might cause people to behave badly in this life. Or worse, it might cause people who are in pain to want to leave this life early. Because if there's an afterlife to look forward to, not an afterlife based on faith, but an afterlife based on fact, then this life loses its value. So as long as there's no proof of life after death, we have to do the best we can for the short time we're here. We have to live in the present moment.
I get what he's saying.
Because
that
we
makes
never
a lot
know
of
when
sense.
the present moment will be our last. I think having a fear of death is healthy. It's not pleasant, but it's healthy and normal. Fear of death is nothing to be ashamed of. That fear keeps you present. That fear keeps you safe. And that fear, it's what makes us human.
Yes! This is why I like the Wi-Fi. I really wish he called out the DR60.
Next up, an episode all about shadow people. Now, maybe they're ghosts,
If this is the same one I saw, I'm going to skip over it.
Demons. I don't know, but it's a pretty common
We
occurrence.
already covered
Now,
like shadow people and shit.
Kind of don't believe in ghosts or shadow people, but I have to admit, I had a shadow person experience. I'm looking at my notes because I didn't even like to memorize this one.
Yeah, I remember when we watched it, he mentioned it.
That everyone sees.
Yeah.
There's like 6 or 7 versions, but there's lots of people see
the Hat Man is the most famous.
There's the Watcher. There's the Child, super creepy. And there's one called the Old Hag. That is the one I saw. I was about to tell you about it, but I don't want to. So
it's
I
fine.
don't believe in this stuff,
I don't
right?
want to. And that's fine.
But my shadow person experience with the Old Hag, which happened, when I was 40, was the most terrifying experience of my life before and since. Nothing has topped it. And I don't believe in the stuff. I get into the specifics of what happened right now.
Okay, like I said, I'm going to skip over this. I wanted to hear that because it wasn't in the episode we watched, to see if he gives a little extra context. But just scrolling through, I could see it's exactly like the one we watched. We already covered it. Reports of the Shadow Man.
The hat is always wide brim.
Yep, the Hat Man. Why am I hearing myself? Am I unmuted? I am. My thing unmuted itself. Is he still talking about shadow people?
There's no consensus among paranormal researchers as to what shadow people are, but the theory is the shadows are astral projection that helps them walk through occurs during hypnagogia, the trance state that sleeping.
Okay, yeah, we covered all this.
Anyway, no time for chit-chat. We're adding a new service. Woodworking, more like wood loving. These eager beavers will munch that log to perfection. Then
they eat all the wood.
Polish your wood.
Please stop describing this business and just call PDS debt. It's customized. No, it was the door.
Going all night.
Oh, I just saw Round the Fail, which means they're going to talk about Amityville. Is this the Warrens?
Ed and Lorraine Warren are maybe the most famous paranormal investigators in history. They've worked on more than 10,000 cases, some of which have been made into books and movies. The Conjuring films are based on the work of the Warrens. Today we'll look at a few of their scariest, most disturbing cases. So turn off the lights and put the...
I want to point out something that I think really needs to be pointed out. In The Conjuring, Bathsheba Sherman was named what was the ghost that they were going after, and she was a real person. The Warrens took her name and basically ruined her good name for their own financial benefit, in my opinion. She wasn't there to defend herself. All reports were that she was a good woman. The last thing she did was leave money for her family. But because of the Conjuring case and the movie, people went and destroyed her fucking grave. Because of the fucking Warrens. That's fucking disgusting, in my opinion. That's horrible. Look, somebody restoring it. They're raising funds. They have to raise funds to restore her grave and shit. This is fucking disgusting. It looks like they fenced it in now to try to keep people from destroying it again. Yeah, look, that's a new headstone right next to where her old one was. People are gross. Again, the Warrens made up that story. In my opinion, fuck them. I don't give a fuck. She wasn't there to defend herself. Her family wasn't there. What the fuck? You ruined... You posthumously fucking destroyed this person's, like, memory. How many people think that shit was fact? It really bothers me. It really, really bothers me.
The little ones to bed, it's gonna get spooky. December 1975, Amityville, New York.
Whoa.
What?
We're jumping right in with Amityville? I don't know about this. You know I don't like to be scared.
Yeah, I know, but we took a vote on the channel, and most people said they wanted scary stories.
Oh, yeah, well, they should be the ones that clean my bowl after I shit myself.
Okay, that's enough.
I'm just saying there are gonna be consequences.
December
I'm so
1975.
Mad. I still like the original Amityville horror movie as fiction. I will admit. And as pissed as I am about the Warrens, and I still get a little salty about the Conjuring movie, I thought the Conjuring movie was all right. I just hate it. It's like hair standing on end whenever they use that woman's name. And how many other fucking real names that they probably slandered. I don't like the idea of holding the Warrens up as these fucking iconic heroes of the paranormal when they destroyed so much. And this is from my own personal experience growing up, loving the paranormal and loving ghosts and stuff like that. To me as a kid, what I saw was that the Warrens were a fucking hero. You get what I mean? I thought they were heroes of the paranormal. I was like, oh, the fucking Warrens, oh, they did this. Oh, they were the ones that did the Amityville. The first novel I read was the Amityville Horror. So when I found out, like, the truth about the Warrens, I was pissed. It was like a don't meet your heroes type thing, and then all the information that came out about them and the other stuff and all the lies, and it really fucked with me. I'm so fucking pissed. I'm really salty about the Warrens.
Amityville, New York. George and Kathleen Lutz were house hunting, though the
Go figure, fucking Zach Bagans, another piece of shit, in my opinion, of the paranormal community, often had Lorraine Warren on episodes of Ghost Adventures. Go figure. And now...
asking price of 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville was higher than their budget. At $18,000, it was a steal. Soon the Lutzes learned why. A year earlier, in...
I want to point out something. I can't come. Why can't you come? Did you run out? You run out of boners, huh? You ran out of boners.
People said they wanted scary stories.
Well, yeah,
this went back too far. I barely fucking nudged it.
Myself.
Okay, that's enough.
I'm just saying there are gonna be consequences.
December
I'm gonna point out something in that
1975,
picture.
Amityville, New York. George and Kathleen Lutz were house hunting.
Hold
though
on.
the asking price of 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville was higher than their budget, at $18,000.
Okay, this is a more modern picture of the home. 22 boners, give me some. You have to wait. You have to earn them like everybody else. All right, the iconic windows on the house. See these? These are the new windows they put in. If you remember, the iconic windows were curved. The new current owners of the house, like, look, they put a gate in the back. They changed the windows in the front. They even had the address of the house changed because people were fucking harassing them. Again, because of the Warrens. Because of the Warrens. The current owners who had no paranormal activity whatsoever were getting constantly harassed by people. So they did everything they could. You know, they changed the windows on the house. They put fences up to keep people the fuck out. They changed the fucking address. And people still harass the fuck out of them. Not only that, and I've covered it multiple times. I'm not going to do it again. I think AJ will probably cover it. One of the most famous pictures in the Amityville house, they say it looks like a ghost boy with glowing eyes. It wasn't. It was actually a guy, one of the members of the team, and he was wearing a plaid shirt. If you look through the stairs, you can see the plaid shirt. And he was crouched down, and the glowing eyes weren't glowing eyes. They were his glasses reflecting. And they knew this. They knew this right away. They knew exactly who was in that picture. But they let people believe it. They put it out there, and it became one of the most famous ghost pictures of the Amityville house. And the whole time it was just this guy that was there. The lies know no bounds.
$1,000, it was a steal. Soon the Lutzes learned why. A year earlier, in the house, 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr., also known as Butch, snapped. On November 13th at 3:15 a.m.
Now, I will say that's the actual thing that's most intriguing about the Amityville house. Not the haunting that came after the murders that happened prior. Was because it was very strange that he was able to go through the whole house and get them all in their sleep while still sleeping with I believe it was a high caliber rifle. And the shots didn't wake anyone up. Now, there's tons of speculation that the older sister was working with him, and then he got the older sister after. I guess maybe there was a scuffle. There was rumors that it was a mob hit, and he was a fall guy. There's all kinds of fucking stories and speculation. But it is very strange. If you're going by the official report, he went through and did this to everyone himself, but didn't wake anyone up with the one gun and doing it room to room. It makes no sense.
He slowly and systematically went bedroom to bedroom and murdered his entire family. Butch DeFeo's father, mother, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers were all shot with a .35 caliber rifle while they slept. Butch claimed he heard voices urging him to kill. His attorney, William Weber, tried the insanity defense, but it didn't work. In November 1975, Butch was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences. 1 month later, George and Kathleen Lutz, along with their 3 children, moved in to the DeFeo house. The Lutzes weren't that religious, but
yeah, and Butch's lawyer was in on the Amityville thing and wanted to make money out of it. He was in contact with the Warrens as well. I'm not sure if they had it documented. I can't remember if they had it documented or not, whether that he was in it for the money. I wouldn't doubt it.
But they asked a local priest to bless the house. While the family was unpacking, Father Pecoraro was in an upstairs room praying. As soon as he splashed holy water, the priest heard a voice that said, "Get out." Father Pecoraro didn't tell the Lutzes specifically what happened, but he warned them not to use that second.
To be clear, if anyone who hasn't seen the Y-Files, he tells the story as it is, as is commonly known. And then at the end, he debunks everything. So just bear with him. Yeah, he knows what he's saying, and exactly, because this is the commonly. And then he goes through the whole story and goes, well, here's this hole, here's this problem, here's this problem. Okay?
We'll get to it. For a bedroom and stay out of the room altogether if they could.
Did they stay out?
They wish they did.
I don't like this.
Within a few days, the Lutzes noticed strange activity. At first, it was just sounds. Doors slamming, footsteps, strange mumbling. Then the house wouldn't get warm, no matter how high they turned up the heat. So they kept a fire going day and night. George sometimes saw demonic faces in the fire. Missy Lutz, then 5 years old, started talking about an imaginary friend named Jody. Green slime was found oozing from the walls and through keyholes. Doors and windows were found suddenly damaged. One night, George saw his wife Kathy transform into an old woman who looked like a witch. He saw hoof prints in the snow leading into their house. George would wake up at 3:15 every morning, the same time the DeFeo family was killed. One night, he heard his children's bed slamming up and down on the floor, but he couldn't do anything about it because he was paralyzed in bed by an unseen force. Later that night, he saw his wife levitating and moving across the bed. The next morning, after only 28 days, the Lutzes had enough. They left the Amityville house and all their belongings and moved in with friends. And that's when they brought in the Warrens. On March 6th, Ed and Lorraine Warren conducted a seance in the house with several psychics. Lorraine, a clairvoyant, said she encountered Butch's spirit during the seance and felt what she described as an overwhelming feeling of horrible depression.
The inhuman, the diabolical, are attracted to where tragedies occur, just like a moth would be attracted to a light. And when the Lutz family moved in 13 months after these murders, they were still using some of the furniture that was in there.
Ed Warren said the house was possessed by demons. The psychic team took a series of time-lapse photos of the upstairs landing. None of the photographs showed anything out of the ordinary, except one. Keep in mind that Butch DeFeo's little brother, John, was only 9 years old on the night he was killed. The photo shows, peering out from one of the bedrooms, a little boy with glowing eyes. After the Lutzes moved out of the house, things returned to normal.
Yeah, I already talked about the glowing eye kid. 2 years later, they would tell their story to author Jay Anson, who released the book, The Amityville Horror. The book was an instant sensation, selling over 6 million copies. The story gained even more notoriety in 1979 when the movie Amityville Horror hit theaters. Since then, 12 books and a total of 28 films have been inspired by the story. Today, the Amityville house looks much like it did in the 70s. After all this time, it's still one of the most famous and frightening houses in the country. No, it's
and
not.
Maybe the world.
No, it's not. It's all in people's heads. Fucking Annabelle bullshit.
Donna, a nursing student, received a gift from her mother for her 20th birthday, a Raggedy Ann doll. Donna loved the doll and took it back to her house that she shared with another young nurse named Angie. The doll's place in the house was sitting up on the couch. But Donna and Angie noticed the doll would be found in different rooms. Donna would set her on the living room couch before she left for work. She'd come home and the doll was in her room with the door shut. Then Donna and Angie started finding notes around the apartment. They were written in child's handwriting and said, "Help me." And the notes were written on parchment paper that they didn't have in the house. One day they came home and the doll had moved again. But this time it had a sticky red substance on its hands that appeared to be blood. Within a few hours, the red substance was gone. Angie's boyfriend Lou said the doll gave him a creepy feeling and told him to get rid of it. They wouldn't. That night, while Lou was sleeping, he heard a noise in the room, like someone was walking around. Then he felt something on the bed. He looked up and said the doll was quickly crawling on the bed on his body. He went to yell, but the doll covered his mouth and choked him until he passed out. The next morning, he tried to convince himself that it was all a dream, but he couldn't shake it. Donna and Angie didn't know what to do. They felt like they were going crazy. They contacted a local medium for help. The medium held a seance and told the women that the doll was possessed by a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins. They later found out that the body of the young girl was found on the property years earlier, before their apartment building was built.
Supposedly.
The medium
Where's
told
the
the girls
proof?
that the doll, who they now called Annabelle, just wanted someone to play
That's
with.
the problem with a lot of the Warren stuff. Where's the proof?
Annabelle asked permission to stay in the doll and
a
live
lot of
with
their
the young
proof was
nurses.
staged.
The young nurses said no, they got rid of the doll, the end.
Nope, they kept it.
I was afraid you'd say that.
They felt
Like, what
bad
was
for
it?
Annabelle and agreed to
In
let
The
her.
Conjuring, they said that the girl was speaking in a voice that she couldn't possibly do, and people heard that story over and over again. But they didn't hear the actual recording. If you listen to the recording, it just sounds like she's doing a fucking voice. I was like, what do you mean she can't do that? I could do that shit. I could talk like this. It's not that fucking hard. That's what she was doing. Like, oh, she couldn't possibly. And then they told everyone. Everyone read the story. A voice she couldn't possibly. But nobody actually heard the recording. They just had to take their word for it.
Or stay in the doll and they would take care of her. That turned out to be a terrible mistake. After the medium left, Angie and Donna explained the story to Lou to try to get him to come around. He said the story just made it worse. Get rid of the doll. They still said no. Over the next days and weeks, the strange activities continued. Sounds in the middle of the night, Annabelle moving from room to room, and now the notes changed from help me to help Lou. One day, Lou was helping Donna and Angie pack for a road trip. He saw that Annabelle looked like she was just thrown onto the floor, so he went over to pick her up, and then he felt a sharp pain in his chest. He looked down and saw blood seeping through his shirt. Underneath, he had 7 long, bloody scratches in the shape of the mark of the beast. Within 2 days, the marks disappeared like they were never there.
Maybe the beast uses Neosporin.
Please, no one-liners when I'm trying to be scary.
No, use one-liners. The one-liners are actually make
Finally,
it bearable.
Angie and Donna agreed to do something. They called the church and explained what was happening. The church reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed Warren was the only lay person recognized by the church as a demonologist.
No, he's not.
The Warrens arrived and spoke to the young women at length.
He says he
Ed
is.
and Lorraine
He is
explained that the
not.
doll was not possessed by a little girl, but possessed by a demon. And now that the demon was invited to live there, it would try to find a human host. The Warrens agreed to take the doll and put it somewhere the demon couldn't escape. So Ed put Annabelle in the back seat of the car. He suggested that they don't take freeways home, and
Did you notice how carefully
Several
Lorraine
times
was
on the
carrying the
drive,
doll that's
the car tried to run
supposedly
itself
an
off
evil
the road,
demon
and
monster?
the brakes would give out, come back, and then give out again. Ed turned around
Maybe
and
they had a
splashed holy
shitty
water
car.
on Annabelle, and after that, the car worked fine. Even after they got Annabelle home, it continued to torment and terrorize. It would move around the house, and at some point, Ed found the doll levitating near his desk. One day, a young priest was visiting and saw
Oh my
Annabelle.
God, this shit
He
pisses
mocked
me
the
off.
doll and said, "You're just a doll, you can't hurt anyone."
I've heard
Bad
this.
move, Padre.
Well, on his way home, his brakes gave out and the priest was killed.
Yeah,
Several
they've
people who
also
mocked
said this
Annabelle
story
ended
with
up
a
in
guy
car
on a
wrecks soon
motorcycle,
after. Finally,
and the
the Warrens
motorcycle
put
crashed.
Annabelle in a glass
Yeah,
case. And on the case is a note that ominously says, "Positively do not open." Today, Annabelle still
adds to
sits
the
in her
lore.
glass case
It
at the
makes it
Occult
scary.
Museum in the Warrens' house. Ghost hunters, mediums, and psychics still visit Annabelle to this day. All report feeling a dark, negative energy coming from the doll. But nobody
Bullshit.
opens the case, and everyone treats her
Because
with
they're not
respect.
allowed to. They showed it once and the lock wasn't even locked on it. That's Shiva
When The
Sherman.
Conjuring was
this
released in
fu-
2013, it was praised not just for
Rage,
being
rage,
extremely
angry.
scary, but for feeling like a true story. That's because it is. In January 1971, the Perrin family moved into an old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. Almost immediately,
I get what they're
Carolyn,
implying.
Roger, and their 5 daughters saw strange things happening. Like most of these stories, the first activity was so small that it would go unnoticed, like things being out of place. Carolyn would notice that her broom would never be in the same place she left it. Then the noises started. Loud thuds, footsteps, and the sounds of people moving around in the kitchen. One day, Carolyn found muddy footprints and small piles of dirt on her freshly washed kitchen floor. Then the girls started seeing spirits around the house. Most of the spirits ignored the
trust me,
girls,
bro.
but a few didn't. And all those spirits were angry. 8-year-old Cindy Perrin kept hearing a voice whispering in her bedroom. It said there are 7 dead soldiers in the walls. One day, Carolyn walked into the kitchen and saw a man standing there just leaning against the wall.
I mean, kids are totally trustworthy, 100%. They would never lie, ever. Right? I can't tell. I keep seeing a flash of light out the corner of my eye. I think it's the lightning outside. Whatchamacallit? Oh yeah. Like, during the Salem witch trials, one lady was brought up on a witch being accused by the children, and then later the children came out and said that they were lying. Go figure, huh? Kids never, ever lie. Don't get me wrong, I love my kids, but you don't think I question some of the odd behavior? Like, my little one stole something from me. I knew she stole it. And she was being evasive, and she was doing, she has a whole lot of tells. And then finally she's like, am I in trouble if I tell you? Like, yeah, you're going to be in trouble. Probably more trouble now, but not as much trouble if I find out later. And she's like, oh, that was me, I stole it. Yeah. I love my kids, but you know, gotta put boundaries, you gotta put lines.
She said he was wearing old-time clothes, which makes sense. The house was built in 1736. Ghosts also appeared sitting at their dining room table, and some seemed to be aware that the parents were there. The ghost pointed at them and then vanished. Other ghosts ignored them before disappearing. So Carolyn researched the history of the house and discovered it had been in the Arnold family for generations. She thought the man she saw in the kitchen was John Arnold. Carolyn learned there had been at least 8 deaths on the property. Some of them gruesome.
Okay.
A few of them, children. Carolyn learned that the primary evil force was the spirit of a woman named Bathsheba Sherman who lived in the house in the mid-19th century. She was not a nice lady. She had a reputation for beating and starving the hired help. While her husband Judson farmed the land, she took care of the house. Bathsheba had 4 children, 3 of whom died very young. Local legend claims Bathsheba was a witch because an infant while in her care mysteriously died.
Which is not true.
The cause of death was determined to be a sewing needle that impaled the baby's skull. Locals believe that this was an offering to the devil, but Bathsheba was never convicted of any wrongdoing.
Because
when Bathsheba
it didn't
died,
happen.
Legend says she turned to stone. The parents said that at 5:15 every morning, there would be the smell of rotten flesh in the house, and the air would become terribly cold and the heat wouldn't work.
See, I feel like I like and I hate the setup that they do on the Y-Files. I get why he does it. He tells the story exactly how it is and how everyone understands it. He doesn't do the debunk till the end. But the problem is people that don't watch till the end don't know that this is all bullshit, and it's fucking
work. One especially scary night, Roger Perrin's bed was lifted into the air and dropped. Soon Carolyn started feeling like Bathsheba was trying to make her kill her children the way Bathsheba killed hers.
This is their story.
That's when the parents
how they
called Ed
it.
and Lorraine Warren for help. The Warrens spent a few hours walking the house and talking to the parents. Then they performed a seance against Roger Perrin's wishes. Here's Roger in his own words.
The Warrens came over and they did the seance in the house, and that was not a good thing. I was against it, but they did it anyway. And 3 to 5 minutes into the seance, and my wife got all, her whole body went out of shape and extorted. And it was like an extortion. Somebody was squeezing her, and her chair got off the floor and came right into me into the next room. And I tried to help her. You know, she was completely out of this world at that point, speaking crazy words. And I tried to help her.
At that point,
if you pay attention to the story and even hint at it a little bit, like slightly in the movie, like you not really noticeable unless you know the whole thing. I think his name is Roger Perrin, the father that was just doing the interview, punched George in the face, or John. Wait, George and Lorraine. Yeah, George. Punch George in the fucking mouth. Here, the way it comes off, and if you pay attention to the story, if you read everything, it's very much like they wanted money, and the father was against it. And the mother and the kids were doing this shit while the father was away at work. And he didn't like it, but there was a chance at money, and he was trying to go along with it, but didn't like it. And he, like, the Warrens felt like they went too far, and he finally got fed up and punched them. And supposedly they left and didn't come back from there. However, then, you know, they needed money and needed to corroborate the story with the family. So once they had probably a book deal or whatever, and the father saw money was coming in, I wouldn't doubt that he would have signed on and gone along with the story. That's how I feel that it went down. Because, again, if you listen to the whole story and all the things that went down, that's how I pieced it together.
Point, Roger had seen enough. He actually punched Ed in the mouth and threw the Warrens out of the house
Ed Warren,
and told them never to return.
Warren.
But soon after the seance, the haunting stopped.
Of course they did. Money!
August 1977, Enfield, North London. This is considered one of the events that proves the existence of poltergeists. Peggy Hodgson had just put her children to bed when she heard the sound of a chair being dragged across the bedroom floor. Peggy went into the room and her daughters were under their blankets, terrified. The chair was upside down.
Yeah, originally the Warrens traveled like, in my opinion, like shysters. They traveled place to place doing the ghost thing. All right. By this time, by the time they got to the Enfield poltergeist, they were big names. The Amityville, Conjuring, you know, Annabelle, this stuff, they were starting to be known in circles. So by the time the Enfield poltergeist, you know, it's not unusual to think to call them from overseas. What the Enfield poltergeist event probably would not have happened early in their career because they didn't have the pull to get called from overseas for something like that.
On the floor, and they said they didn't do it. They said the chair moved on its own. So Peggy turned out the lights and then heard the sound of scraping. When she turned the lights back on, she saw a dresser slide 18 inches across the floor. Peggy wasn't quite sure what was happening. She tried to push the dresser back into place, but it wouldn't budge. Peggy called her neighbors over to make sure she wasn't going crazy. The neighbors also heard the sounds. Peggy finally called the police. One of the responding officers said she heard knocking or tapping and saw the chair wobble. Then she saw the chair slide across the floor about 3 feet. This is in the official police report. But the police said there's no crime, so there's nothing they can do. After a couple of months, everyone in the house was sleeping in the same room. And then
I'm pretty sure a lot of the supposed
Voices of an old
evidence
man
that
started coming
bro,
from Janet, and her lips weren't moving.
By this time, the Warrens had learned to grease palms. You know what I mean? Cut them in on the deals.
Well, perhaps you've got something to say to them.
Yeah.
Oh, hear that voice?
Yeah, like I can't do that.
Chords to pieces. If I do it for half a minute, I get a sore throat.
There's choices here.
That doesn't mean
Peggy
she wouldn't
didn't know
do it.
where to turn, so she went to the media. Soon
Doesn't mean
reporters
it's
and
impossible.
paranormal investigators descended on the family, performing test after test. There are photos of Janet being levitated out of bed. There's video of knocking sounds responding to questions from mediums. Guy Playfair was a writer and parapsychologist with the Society for Psychical Research. He spent a great deal of time with the family. He witnessed a lot of poltergeist activity with his own eyes. By 1978, the Enfield poltergeist attracted the attention of Ed and Ray
I can't
Warren.
say for sure.
At this point in time,
I feel
the Warrens
like
were icons
he was
in paranormal
also
research.
included
They flew to London
money-wise.
to investigate. Ed Warren was convinced there was a demonic presence. The voice coming from
Of course
Janet
he
said
was.
its name was Bill and that he lived and died in the house. The voice said that he had died of a brain hemorrhage while sitting in a chair. Bill's son confirmed all of that was
Easily to
true.
look up. It's easy to look up, and that's how you use it.
By Terry Wilkins, whose father Bill was buried in a nearby cemetery.
Okay, see, that's the thing. You sprinkle in a little bit of truth with your bullshit. That's what makes it more believable. Bathsheba Sherman was a real person. You can find her grave. But her history was totally false. They just used a name. Okay, they looked up medical records and found out this guy died there and how he died. Okay, you can have it verified, but that doesn't mean that the haunting is real. It just means, yes, there was a guy there and he died this way. It's sprinkling a little bit into the truth in to make it more believable.
And had lived at the house before the Hodgsons moved in.
I had an hemorrhage and not fell asleep, and I died in a chair in a corner downstairs.
Astonishingly, the voice had described the precise circumstances of Bill Wilkins' death.
But it describes exactly how that's exactly what happened. He died in the chair, down in the living room.
In all, there were more than 30 witnesses who saw furniture moving, objects flying around, cold breezes, physical assaults, pools of water appearing on the floor, graffiti, and matches spontaneously igniting. The Enfield poltergeist tortured Peggy, Janet, and the entire family for 18 months. It almost ruined their lives. Then, as quickly as it started, it stopped.
I cannot wait for the debunk at the end. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
The Snedekers lived in upstate New York, but found themselves traveling to Connecticut a lot. Philip, eldest son of Carmen and Alan Snedeker, had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and his hospital was in Connecticut. In 1986, Carmen and Alan had enough of the commute and decided to rent something near the Yukon Hospital. They packed up their 4 children and 2 of their nieces and moved to a spacious duplex on a quiet street in Southington, Connecticut. As soon as they moved in, Alan began renovations on the basement to make a bedroom for Philip. While cleaning out some rusty tools and other basement junk, he found an old piece of equipment he didn't recognize. It looked like a pump with a couple of old tubes coming out of it. Turns out, it was embalming equipment.
Yep.
Corpses.
No.
Alan kept renovating. He found 2 rooms.
Do the moan.
One was the embalming room, complete with equipment and rusty floor drains.
There you go.
The other room was a casket display room. The Snedekers now realized why the rent was so low on such a big house. It used to be a funeral home. The Hallahan Funeral Home, to be exact. Philip's bedroom would be the former casket room. And almost immediately, he heard strange sounds and voices. He saw dark figures moving in the shadows. He saw a man with white hair and a pinstripe suit. One night, he saw bodies stacked up against the wall. Philip was so frightened, he asked to sleep in the hospital, which his parents didn't allow. Carmen thought Philip was hallucinating because of his cancer medication. But then everyone
there's a lot more to this story as well.
Things.
Philip supposedly had mental issues that they.
Well, it was
some people believe that they were saying like the cancer treatment was just a disguise. They said it was cancer, but it was actually something else.
The ghosts just made sounds and moved things around the house. They would find light bulbs unscrewed from their sockets, but still somehow emitted light. And all through the house was the smell.
Yeah, there's a lot of holes in the Snedeker case. This one was really bad because they weren't the only ones living in the house. There was multiple floors. It was like a multi-family home. And the other people that lived there were like, yeah, nobody's ever had problems there. And they lived there for a while before anything started to happen. They didn't start to happen until they were having money troubles. You get what I'm saying? It's all documented and shit. And their interview on the talk show, that was a big fucking joke. That was hilarious if you ever get to watch it. They brought a bed on stage and everything and had them describe what happened to them in bed on the stage. Oh my God. It's fucking ridiculous.
Of feces and decay. It became unbearable. The entire family was terrified. And just when they couldn't take it anymore, the ghosts became violent. What began as strange sounds, smells, and visions of spirits soon became much more. The spirits became physically violent. One night, both Carmen and her niece Tammy had a terrifying encounter. Carmen woke up and felt a dark energy around her. She couldn't see anything, but she felt cold hands reaching under her pajamas and grabbing at her underwear. Then she heard an evil laugh. Carmen's niece had the same exact encounter, but she was scared. Whoa. What was that?
No, you can't say here. We'll get demonetized again.
Oh, we don't want that.
No, we don't.
You can't say the bad words.
And the grown-ups out there can fill in the blanks.
Figure it out.
Eventually, both Carmen and her husband Alan were scared by the entity multiple times. One night, Carmen finally saw the ghosts. One had long white hair and white eyes. The other had black hair and black eyes.
I'm not sure.
That's when they called Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens and their team of investigators spent 9 weeks in the Snedeker house. And during that time, they saw everything the Snedekers reported.
I'm not sure.
Members of the team were pushed, slapped, even knocked to the ground. Ed and Lorraine searched the history of the home. They discovered that one of the morticians who worked there was a necrophiliac.
Definition?
Oh, he had a thing for corpses.
Worst hobby ever.
I'm sorry,
Ed said that the spirit infused the home with evil. The Warrens felt that an exorcism would work, and after the house was cleansed, the Snedekers moved out. Then the Warrens hired author Ray Garton to document everything that happened in the house.
Which, yeah, even the author was like, You know, I'm pretty sure it was this author. I know it was one of the authors, but I'm almost positive it was him. They kept giving him conflicting stories and shit, and he went to Ed. Warren was like, I don't know how you want me to write this. And Ed was like, just make it scary.
The documentation of these events became the book In a Dark Place, The Story of a True Haunting. The Snedeker case was also made into the movie The Haunting in Connecticut, released in 2009. Since the Snedekers moved out, nobody has reported...
I lived close to this house in Connecticut when I was little, when I was really little. I don't remember a lot, but I know that people often talked about it. I mean, not frequently. I mean, enough that I had heard about it. I wanted to know more, and they're like, don't worry about it. You know, the adults blew me off. But I know that we were nearby. I don't know specifically where. But the point was, it was all bullshit. Even they were talking about, did you hear about that place? Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was blown off. It wasn't like, oh, it's so scary. They were like, yeah. The adults talk, like, don't worry about it.
Anything strange in the house since. And the owner makes sure to tell all renters that it was once a funeral home, and that the renters should keep that in mind before they sign the lease. Ed and Lorraine Warren are possibly the most successful paranormal investigators in history. They've written or contributed to at least 30 books about their cases.
In my opinion,
their
they're
work has
fucking
inspired
liars
the
and
movies in the
shysters.
Conjuring universe, a film franchise worth over $2 billion.
Yep.
But the Warrens have their detractors, with many skeptics calling them outright frauds and grifters. So
no shit.
What's the truth? Well, Ed and Lorraine Warren met when they were 16 years old at a local movie theater. Their conversation soon moved to the paranormal. Ed believes he grew up in a haunted house, and Lorraine claimed to be clairvoyant. They were married when they were 19 when Ed was on leave from the army. They soon made their livings as artists. They would go to houses that they believed were haunted, paint them, and then try to sell the painting to the owner.
Oof, that's a rough racket.
It was. So Ed supplemented their income by driving a bus. Though they were making a name for themselves locally as paranormal investigators, their breakthrough came in 1979 with the Amityville horror case. When the Warrens arrived in Amityville, they brought an entire film crew with them. Unfortunately, the film crew didn't capture anything except for the moanings of a few psychics.
Yeah, I'm the ghost boy.
Right, the ghost boy on top of the stairs. Yeah, that's a creepy photo. But it's actually a photograph of Paul Bartz.
Oh, the mall cop?
Yep.
No, Paul Bartz
Not
was
Paul
one of the
Blart.
investigators. He doesn't have glowing eyes. That's just light reflecting off his glasses. The cameras snapped a picture of him when he was setting up some equipment, but the photo became so famous that nobody bothered to refute it. Now, the Lutzes did call Father Pecoraro to bless the house, which he did. He also said there was nothing strange about the house. It was a peaceful and lovely home. Other parts of the story are also a little...
Father Pecoraro came in and was like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's a nice house. It was all bullshit. It was just a big load of bullshit.
Sketchy. The Lutzes couldn't have seen hoof prints in the snow.
Exactly. My wife's doing it. She's going down the hall. Bullshit. Bullshit.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
I love that audio file.
Because there was no snow at that time. And all the damage that supposedly happened to the house didn't. Doors, windows, the entire house was in perfect shape when they moved in and when they left. The Amityville story was actually created by Butch DeFeo's lawyer, William Weber, and the Lutz family. One night they were discussing a way to help each other. Weber wanted an insanity verdict for Butch DeFeo. He was also working on a book deal. The Lutzes were struggling financially and they liked the sound of a book deal. Weber said that after 4 bottles of wine, their meeting turned into a creative writing session. But the Lutzes didn't like their cut of Weber's book deal. Author Jay Anson offered the Lutzes 50-50. That they liked. And with millions of books selling like crazy and movie offers coming at them, it was in their financial interest to stick with the story. The Amityville horror story is definitely debunked. The next case we talked about was Annabelle, the possessed doll. This story is easier to track. It's basically a retelling, beat for beat, of the Twilight Zone episode Living Doll, which aired in 1963 on CBS.
Yep, and
here's
the mother
synopsis.
in the episode was named Annabelle.
When his wife comes home with her daughter Christy, having bought her yet another doll. Christy loves her new talking Tina doll, but her stepfather takes an immediate dislike to it. Anytime he is alone with the doll, it spouts abusive comments to the effect that it hates him and that it's going to kill him.
My name is Eric Strader, and I'm going to get rid of you.
You wouldn't dare.
It's a great episode, and every Twilight Zone fan knows it. Ed and Lorraine were apparently fans of the show too and co-opted the story.
Yep.
Still not convinced? The mother's name in the Twilight Zone episode was Annabelle. We can call that one debunked. Now, how about Bathsheba Sherman, the witch that tormented the Perrons as portrayed in The Conjuring? When The Conjuring was released in 2013, the owner of the house at the time, Norma Sutcliffe, was tortured.
By the witch?
No, by movie fans. She released a video that year complaining about how her property was descended upon by horror fans. At all hours, day or night, there would be people in her yard, exploring the barn on her property, and even sticking cameras and phones through her window. She was furious. She even sued Warner Brothers over this. In her video, Norma goes on to debunk basically the whole story. Bathsheba was a real person, but that's about all the story gets right. She never lived in that house, never killed anyone. By all accounts, she was a lovely woman. She died peacefully at the age of 73.
So, very little murdering of children?
Very little. None, actually. Her last act before she died was to provide for her grandchildren's education. Norma lived in that house for years. She said
people
nothing
went
strange
and
happened
destroyed
in the
her
house before
fucking grave
or
over
since.
this shit.
Now, maybe Norma Sutcliffe just got lucky and the house was haunted when the parents were there. Maybe. They got a few juicy book deals and a movie out of the story. So they said and continue to say their story is true. Oh,
because
the parents
they don't
didn't
want to
reach
give the
out
money
to Ed
back.
and Lorraine Warren for help. The Warrens just showed up. That's something they did a lot. They finally left when Mr. Perron punched Ed in the mouth. So Bathsheba Sherman and The Conjuring? Debunked. The Snedeker's case is another one that doesn't make the Warrens look good. Ray Garton, the author that Ed Warren hired, really struggled writing the book.
It was difficult with the family involved. They were going through some serious problems like alcoholism and drug addiction. They could not keep their story straight, and I became very frustrated. It's hard writing a non-fiction book when all the people involved are telling you different stories.
When Garton told Ed Warren about this, Ed said, "Oh, they're crazy. Only crazy people call us." So Garton asked what he's supposed to do about the book. Ed says, use what works and just make the rest up. Just make it scary. And this was not the first time Ed Warren hired a horror writer for help. Not a journalist, not a biographer, a horror fiction writer. Also, what's not widely reported is that Philip, their son with cancer, was caught touching and trying to rape his cousins. He even got pretty close once. Police took him to a mental hospital where he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And schizophrenia could certainly explain why he was seeing and hearing things.
Yeah, but it wouldn't explain why everyone else was.
No, but the Snedekers lived in the house for 2 years without an incident. But after they got behind on the rent and their landlady had begun eviction proceedings, suddenly the house was haunted. Also, their story has a lot of details that sound like the movie The Entity, which was popular and super scary. What's also not widely reported is that the family dealt with alcoholism and drug addiction, which makes everything worse. In fact, Ray Garton said that while he was working on the book, he never actually saw Philip, and the Snedekers never mentioned what kind of cancer he had. He did speak to Philip on the phone, and Philip told him that when he stayed on his medication, the ghost stopped. Then Philip's mother quickly ended the call. Ray Garton and some of the Snedekers' neighbors suspected the family might have been using cancer as a cover story for Philip's mental health problems and drug addiction. And despite their claims, they were fully aware that the house was a funeral home. And there was a tenant living in the upstairs apartment who never saw or heard anything. The Snedekers' neighbors, their landlady, even the person writing the book about the case, all said the story was made up. This one is safely debunked. The Enfield poltergeist is a tricky one. We know at least some of the story was a hoax because Janet admitted to it. And the kids were caught multiple times faking so-called paranormal incidents. And people say the voice was coming from her without her mouth moving, but there's plenty of video of her mouth moving. The photo of Janet levitating above the bed looks a lot like her jumping off the bed. And that picture was taken with a motion-controlled camera in the girl's bedroom, so nobody else was in the room to confirm what actually happened. This was another case where the movie exaggerates the Warrens' involvement. Again, they just showed up uninvited. They stayed for a few hours, looked around, and left the following day. Ed Warren did have a chance to speak to Guy Playfair, the investigator who spent the most time with the family. Ed told Guy he could make a lot of money from this case. Guy wasn't interested, but the Warrens wrote it up anyway. They cashed in and called this another one of their 10,000 cases. Except they didn't investigate 10,000 cases. If they did one case a day without a day off, that would take them 27 years. So we caught Ed stretching the truth again. Speaking of,
seems to
there is
happen a
one
lot.
true horror story here. His name is Ed Warren.
Yes. Thank you!
Warner Brothers' multi-film, multi-billion-dollar Conjuring franchise follows Ed and Lorraine Warren, a devoutly religious, happily married couple who travel the world, helping rid frightened families of ghosts and demons.
Here
Fucking
comes the butt.
But
dickhead.
just weeks after the release of the first film in 2013, the studio learned about allegations made against Ed Warren. According to Judith Penny, Ed Warren initiated a relationship with her when she was only 15. She used to take his bus and he developed feelings for her. And if that wasn't disturbing enough, soon Judith moved into the Warrens' house. Her relationship with Ed continued for over 40 years, and Lorraine knew all of this. Judith's bedroom was directly across from the Warrens. Eventually, they built an apartment for her upstairs, and according to Judith Penny's sworn testimony, Ed would sleep downstairs sometimes and upstairs sometimes. Their marriage wasn't as perfect as it's been portrayed. Judith said Ed would often beat Lorraine, sometimes knocking her unconscious. She said she was worried he might kill Lorraine one day. Ed often told Judith that she was the love of his life, and in 1978, she became pregnant.
Whoa, she had his baby?
Nope.
But, oh no.
She was told a child would complicate the Warrens' business. When attorney Jill Smith was working through the Warrens' movie contract, there was specific language that she had never seen before. Now, it's not unusual for producers to sign a non-disparagement clause when adapting a true story. Nobody wants to sell their story and then look bad. But this contract specifically said that the movies could not depict an extramarital affair, relationships with minors, and some other specific things that I won't get into here. But suffice it to say, the descriptions were graphic. Now, in the Warrens' defense, they said Judith was a girl they took in for charity, and she would watch the house when they were traveling. Judy and Tony Spera, the Warrens' daughter and son-in-law, say they never saw any of the alleged conduct.
Of course.
The Speras believe Judith Penny is being manipulated, though I don't know for what purpose.
Now, the Speras are in with the Warrens. In fact, Tony Spera is now in charge now that Ed and Lorraine are both passed. He's in charge of the Warren Occult Museum in Annabelle. It's still making money off their shit. It only benefits them to keep the squeaky clean as best they can. It's fucking a joke.
She's in her 70s, married, and doesn't make...
And yeah, Matt Rife and what's-his-face fucking bought the Warrens' home, but they didn't buy the Occult Museum. And I think a lot of people get that mistaken. So even though they're charging fucking over $2,000 a night to stay there, and the contract to visit there for a haunting, a ghost hunt, is fucking insane. I mean, I've already covered it enough times. I'm not going to go over it again. But yeah, it's there was no ghosts ever reported in the Warrens' home. It was all in the Occult Museum. That was the whole point of the Occult Museum. But now that they bought the Warrens' home, not the museum, the Speras still own the museum. Yeah, now they're like, oh yeah, of course the Warrens' house is haunted. Please come see the house and pay insane amounts of money to come stay here.
Any money from the films. Though Warner Brothers did offer her $150,000 for her life story.
Hush money.
Yep. Judith says she remained friendly with Ed until his death in 2006. But despite her fondness for him, what he did was despicable and a crime. What it all comes down to is this. No case that the Warrens worked on was ever supported by any evidence besides their word.
None.
Ed claimed to have photos and video, but those were never produced. I did see one video that Ed spoke about, the ghost called the Lady in White.
Yeah, and it's hot garbage. Okay, before they show it, this was very hard to find. I found it only, of course, before all this stuff came out. I found it back when I was looking into the Warrens cases. And it was secondhand. Like, you had to watch the projector or that he was showing it on at a meeting that Ed was like a lecture that Ed was holding. It was very hard to see there, but I have seen this before, and yeah, it's just somebody in a white dress walking in a graveyard. It's so bad, and it's probably why Ed kept this video. He probably realized he probably got called out for it on how bad it was, but people already knew about the Lady in White, so they would save it for, special occasions, like a lecture, and they would control it, probably showing on projectors or bad TVs where people could barely see it, so that they couldn't get a close-up look and debunk it. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion.
Now that's a pretty compelling video. But
Not
Judith
really.
Penny
No,
said
it
Ed
isn't.
told her to put on a white dress and walk around a cemetery, so she did. Now I'm not saying
It's
ghosts
not
aren't real
compelling
and
at
the
all.
Warrens lied about everything. I am saying they lied about some things. And because
They
of that,
lied
we have
about
to
enough.
question everything they say.
They lied
And Warren
about
was
a
a
lot.
self-proclaimed demonologist. He said that anyone who is possessed by a demon, he could find and eradicate it. I guess he would know. Ed Warren had a few demons of his own.
Ooh.
I took a lot of heat for exposing Ed Warren like that. He has a lot of
I
fans.
don't know why.
But
I don't give a shit.
that's what happened. I told
Fuck
the
him.
truth.
That's my
People with
opinion.
skeletons in the closet shouldn't throw glass houses, huh?
Yeah, that's not how that saying goes.
Whatever it works.
People with glass stones shouldn't throw skeletons.
That's still not it.
Yeah,
Don't ever throw skeletons.
should,
Anyway.
What the fuck happened? What the fuck? YouTube! You're fucking with my video! Wait a minute. My stream stopped again. What the fuck? Did the internet cut out again? That's the only thing I can think of. The internet fucking cut out again. Ah, fuck you. Fuck you. Ah, damn it. I was so close to the end of my stream. You couldn't give me 5 more fucking minutes. 5 fucking minutes? You couldn't give me 5 fucking minutes. Damn it. Nights like this suck. Yeah, I can see my kick stream is already down. Last live an hour ago? It went down an hour ago? No, that's gotta be when I restarted. Fucking bullshit. Oh my god. Fuck! God, that's where it stopped at? I'm looking at my Twitch stream. Oh, God fucking damn it. Oh well. I'll do my little exit. It'll be at least on the VOD. God damn it. It never fails. It never fails. Let me check. Is it all the internet's down? Oh yeah. I have 0 signal. Alright. I don't know why. It says I'm still connected to the internet, but there's got to be an issue. Alright, I'll wrap up here for the night. I'll save my closing. It never fucking fails, you know? It never fails. It's always something. The scuff! No matter how well you prepare, the scuff always comes. I wish I could get this to stay on the fucking bottom. Oh, the scuff. Alright, have a good night, everyone. I'm going to be off Sunday, Monday as normal. I should be back Tuesday unless, I'm having a grumpy day. I know this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you watch this pod, no one's actually watching live, it's my birthday celebration. Connecting to chat. It's trying to reconnect. It's trying really hard. I'm looking forward to that. So, it'll be a bunch of gaming and dirty jokes, and I'm sure everyone seems to get a kick out of those. So I look forward to seeing y'all. Have a good night, everybody. Peace out.
That's my spine on a chair. Chat scrolls by, I can feel you stare. Yeah, I'm dead, but at least I'm aware. You can't fix dumb, so I don't even care. Fake con crew screaming at dust in the air. Call that proof, man, pull up a chair. I roast them raw while I smoke and swear. You want family friendly, you won't find it here. Everyone loves a BJ. You sick little boners, I see you. Welcome to the Boner Brigade. I'm trapped in these rattling bones with you. top frag while they camp and complain they stun. Crack one joke and the whole chat groans, but you clip that bit cause you know it hits home. Dirty mind, clean x-ray chest. I got lungs of smoke and a heart that left. Can't stand fools who refuse to learn. You play stupid games, watch these bones, let them burn. Everyone loves a BJ. You sick little boners, I see you. Welcome to the boner brigade. I'm trapped in these rattling bones with you. Everyone loves a BJ. Laugh till your brains fall out. If you came here looking for saints, better backspace now and bounce. I'm stuck in this cage of ribs, all jaw, no lips, still talk, my shit still crack. These quips, if I'm cursed to stay, I'll scream all night. Turn this undead life into something you like. Everyone loves a BJ. You sick little boners, I see you. Welcome to the